Välkommen. Jag får tala inte svenska, so I speak English. I know in Sweden almost 100% of people speak English and understand English. So I wouldn't have problem, I think. You would understand me. And then at the end, I would just say a few words in Farsi for those of our guests who might not understand English as well. Well, I'm happy to be here and thank you for coming, even though it seems that sort of organizing conferences and seminars is falling out of fashion, and Twitter and Facebook does a better job. You don't see halls as you used to see 5-6 years ago with 200 people, 150 people who come to listen and to participate and to engage. But we, both as a movement and as an organization, which is Organization for Women's Liberation, and before that, Medusa, which was a journal from sort of the Circle of Women and Socialism. Some of the Medusas are there on the table. Some of us here have been working for over 20 years against political Islam, for equality, for freedom, and we've always tried to have a position to separate ourselves from both a part of left and right regarding this issue. What do I mean? We've always been very critical of political Islam and Islam as an ideology. Just we are as Christianity and Judaism. We're not just anti-Islam, so to speak. This is the position we have against religion, and we are critical of religion because we think religion is one of the main ideology in today's, always, that sort of brings conservatism, keeps women down, and promotes the principles of equality and freedom. So, but originally coming from the Middle East, especially from Iran, which is under an Islamic regime, which has repressed and suppressed the society from all aspects for the past 37 years, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's 38 now. And then also women. Gender apartheid is the term that we coined. It's our movement who used this term, and now is used quite widely, even in the United Nations. And that was talking about the segregation that Islamic regime was imposing on women in the society and the veil. And even there, we were fighting against it. Once we had to all sort of immigrate to some safety in the 80s, some of us in the 90s, we continued this struggle here, of course, in a new form and shape, because now we had to also bring some of the awareness that we had in Iran, in the Middle East, here to the society. And we had to also be very careful not to instigate racism against the Muslim community and stop and fight against cultural relativism. It's a very, very thin rope, you know. You always have to be very careful what you do, what you say. Your actions, your activities, your words are so clear that you leave no room for racism or for cultural relativism. To our opinion, we always have said that cultural relativism is racism. You know what? Because you say, okay, they're coming from that part, let them do what they want to do. It's their culture. I live my own life, they can live their own life. If they force veil on their children, it's their problem. If they segregate their women, it's their problem. If they don't let their kids go swimming with the other kids, it's their problem. No, it's not their problem. It's everybody's problem. But at the same time, we would not put all this community together in a wagon like the Jews that were taken to concentration camp and bring racism against the Muslim community. We are against that too. So this is something that we've always done. At the past 2 decades, Karim mentioned a couple of the names. I mentioned some of the other names. Parvin Kabuli, Mariam Afrasiapur, Laje came a bit later, Shahla Nouri, Karim Nouri himself, Siavash Danishvar. We were all in a movement that tried very hard, and there were others, of course, who are not here today, to sort of take that line. And today is more urgent than ever, to have this line, to walk on that rope very carefully and keep your balance. Why? Let's see what's happening to the immigrants who come in from Syria, from Iraq, from Afghanistan. What do they do to them? How do they brand them? It's not exaggeration if some people on Facebook compare that situation to the situation of the Jews in the World War II. Look how they humiliate them. The war is running in the Middle East. US is in it, Europe is in it, Britain is in it, Russia is in it. All of them are fighting their war there, ruining people's lives, killing people, murdering people. When some of them want to come to safety, what happens? There are Muslims, they're going to come and, they're going to bring terrorism to our society. You've taken terrorism there, bombing them every day. US finally had to accept that with this bombing in Mosul, 200 people died. But even the spokesperson of the United Nations said hundreds of people. There were interviews on TV with 2 men. One said, I just buried 10 members of my family. 10 members. They were in one room. Took refuge in one room. And the other one, he was in hospital, on hospital bed, could not breathe. Somebody said he, with 21 people of his family, were in one room in this building that was destroyed. 21 members of his family died in this bombing. He's the only one alive who's in hospital. He doesn't even know that he lost 21 members of his families in the matter of 2 seconds. They had taken refuge there. That was their only gift. And US bombing just took their lives like this. Over the past 3 months, few thousand people with the Western media's information have died by bombings in Mosul. I don't know how many Daesh killed, but we know more or less how many US and its allies killed in Mosul. If one of those families somehow gets over the sea, puts his foot in Europe, what do they do with him? Look at Hungary. They put them in camps. Look at Greece. Greece is the most decent one. Look at all the Eastern Europe. Look at France. France, in Paris, you know what the police does? The refugees who are homeless, sleeping rough on the street, the police comes, takes their blankets away and burns their blankets in the cold winter under zero. Why? Because they should not be sleeping here. Even Medicines Without Borders are saying that police is actually putting a lot of lives in danger. The police doesn't care, and that's the civilized democracy of France that does that to those refugees. So I'm not going to, anytime I go talk about this, I just can't stop. because it's so inhuman. It's so brutal. It's so uncivilized. It's just as uncivilized as what Daesh is doing. This is what I want to say. So here we are, two. Daesh, Al-Jihad, Al-Nusrat, Islamic regime, all of that in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, name it. With the flag, dark black flag of death of the Islamist movement. And here you have Israel, US, Britain, and all the NATOs. There is a reason we call there are two poles of terrorism. There is a reason we call one of them state terrorism, the other one Islamic terrorism. There is a reason we say we have to stand against both of them. There is a reason we say there is but another pole, which is called a third pole. And this is all us, the humanity, the civilized humanity, the freedom-loving humanity, the caring humanity, the humanity that has a heart, and his mind and his heart are not separated. A humanity who cares. Doesn't matter what color you have. Doesn't matter what language you speak. Doesn't matter what religion you believe. Cares. This is the humanity we have to mobilize. That's why we've always tried very hard to have a very distinct line between us and what I call right secularism in Europe and in the West. The secularists who are humiliating people, degrading them because of their religion, and those who don't want to do that, then defend Islamism, thinking that this way they won't be racist. It's a false. That's why I don't agree with the concept of Islamophobia, but I'm very much for defense of the rights of Muslim people, Muslim communities, for their equality, for their to dignity. Dignity, that's very important. Now, I have another speech, of course, at the end, but it would be in Farsi, so for many of our guests would not be on. I'm sorry, Karim, if I spoke too loud. Just let me speak two words in Farsi. امیدوارم دوستان متوجه شده باشن تقریبا من چی گفتم. تلاش کردم که نشون بدم که خط سازمان آزادی زن و جنبش ما که 20 ساله داریم می‌جنگیم خیلی متفاوته از اون خطی که سعی می‌کنه مسئله یا از نسبت فرهنگی دفاع کنه، از ترس اسلاموفوبیک حرف میزنه، یا اونایی که میخوان اسلاموفوبیک نباشن میگفتن تو دامن راست و عملاً راسیسم رو علیه جامعه مسلمان تشدید میکنن و این ما همیشه یه خط دیگه ای داشتیم. این مسئله رو که گفتم. حالا یه جمله، فقط یه جمله. I want to thank somebody with all my heart. Somebody without whom these conferences and seminars would not be possible. We all worked, but there is somebody who's always behind the scene, who probably doesn't come here and speak, but without her, none of these conferences were possible. میخوام الان از یکی تشکر کنم، احتمالا همتون میدونید کیه. یه نفر که بدون اون این کنفرانس‌ها امکان پذیر نبود. یکی که ممکنه عکسش خیلی اینجا تو نباشه، سخنرانی اونقدر نمی‌کنه، ولی اگر اون نبود این 10 سال کنفرانس‌های بین‌المللی که ما گرفتیم و چقدر موفق بوده امکان پذیر نبود. کسی که مدام داره کار میکنه بدون اینکه یک ذره انتظار داشته باشه، توقع داشته باشه که اسمش رو. I want you to give a round of applause for شهرانی. ببخشید اگه طول سالی که